All right, welcome to GoGotalx, brought to you by GoGoTx. I'm your host, Malachi Johns. Today we are joined by the one and only Crazy Legz. What's up, my man? How you doing?
What's going on? What's good?
Not too much, man. Not too much. So I appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you reaching out. Looking forward to working together. Why don't you give everybody sort of the rundown of your history in dance and the music industry and go-go in general. And if you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/GoGoTx. That's where the other side of the conversation is going on. Crazy Legz might give us a little concert later on, so make sure you over here to see that. But yeah, go ahead, man. Why don't you give us a little history of your life?
Yeah, started dancing when I was 9, 10, inspired by Michael Jackson initially. Then that's when the beat your feet craze came out. Everybody was beating their feet at school. Then from there, I've pretty much been hooked and came up under the wing of a lot of beat your feet legends and OGs. Used to have them at my house, go to their house, and learned all the individual styles and created my own.
So can we go a little bit slower? Can you talk about how, like, do you know what the origin of the dance was, and like who were some of these guys, and what specifically did you learn from them?
Yeah, so Beat Your Feet was created by a guy named Slush from Bird Farms. So he's the originator who created it, and the reason it spread so rapidly throughout DC. And during that spread, I came up under the wing of my man Boom, rest in peace to Boom, rest in peace Slush, man John, Screech, a lot of Beat Your Feet legends from different neighborhoods all over the city. And, I took pieces of their styles and created my own, which today is the Crazy Legz style.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it got evolved, and been doing my thing ever since. A pivotal moment was 2005. I think I was 15 or 16. That's when the Beat Your Feet Kings sparked. We got together. We battled the Crunk Kings from LA here in DC from the movie Rise. Mm-hmm. So we battled them twice, and we named ourselves the Beat Your Feet Kings, and that kind of gave us motivation. And, sky's the limit ever since then. MTV, America's Best Dance Crew, So You Think You Could Dance, Traveling, etc. So just doing it for the culture, trying to keep go-go culture as a collective.
Gotcha. So you went out for a second, but Beat Your Feet is just for because people are watching. I mean, I know. So Beat Your Feet is definitely tied to the culture of go-go. It's not just a dance style. It's a dance style, obviously, that was created within go-go, but it's still and definitely tied to the culture. Correct?
Most definitely. Without go-go, there is no Beat Your Feet.
Got it. Okay. All right. Sounds good. And so give a little bit more insight into the shows that you were on. How did they go?
My first big show, I think, was at I consider big, was at a performing at a college. I was like 15 or something like that. And then the Crunk Kings battle, we did that twice. Went to Apollo. So You Think Fox 5 came here for So You Think You Could Dance, and when they came to DC for auditions, they brought us in and shut the whole audition down, had us tear the stage up. Since they came to DC, we had us showing Beat Your Feet. So that was a pivotal moment. The other kings and queen, they went to America's Best Dance Crew, which was on MTV. I didn't go to that, but they definitely represented. And I mean, it's a lot of different shows, colleges, you know.
Well, so how do you determine who goes to one show, who performs on one show and who doesn't? Is the crew broken up into multiple things, or is it just like you had another obligation and you couldn't do that one, or how does that decision get made?
Well, good question. Well, that changed over the years. So I had originally left the Beat Your Feet Kings and started a group called the Originals.
Okay.
So there were two king groups floating around. There was never no separation though. You know, we just had different routes. They were going more commercial, and we, the Originals, we were sticking more to the community-based route, youth focus. Looking forward to the next generations. But you know, it all depends. Depends who's available. Depends, you know, what the objective is for the show. There's a freestyle or choreography. You know, we kind of know everyone's strong points, and we'll kind of make a determination based off of those criteria.
So talk a little bit more about I mean, not really split, but just sort of, I don't know how you characterize it, but you said there was never really any separation, but like that some
Right.
people were more interested. I mean, because I think that there's some parallels there to the music of go-go. Like some people are
Right.
interested in doing more of a commercial thing and try, like myself, that wants to see go-go become, a bigger force in the international scene. And then some people are more not content, but more motivated to do the local community thing. Talk about the motivation to do one or the other, and how that may or may not be similar to the musicians at go-go.
Yeah. So on the commercial side, I try to speak as best as I can for them. Just the feedback you get, or the feeling you get from getting on So You Think You Could Dance, and that celebrity, or at least local celebrity type feeling. You kind of get inspired and you want to push further. So that was the objective, to spread and grow. Me, on the other hand, at that time, I think I was early 20s, early 2021. I had a nice relationship with kids in our communities. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to stray away from them, and I always looked towards the future and felt, if I stay connected to the youth, then we could keep this thing going. So I focused on doing Beat Your Feet battles, training a lot of young guys, just to keep everything moving forward, and helping the youth at the same time.
So you felt like there was, like, you wouldn't be able to do both. So you felt like if you
Yeah.
were trying to be able to do the commercial thing, you wouldn't be able to keep the roots, keep working with the kids and keep your roots in the community. Now, was there some kind of, because on the music side, there's definitely a feeling of, which I think doesn't really make any sense, but it's just my personal opinion. There's a feeling of like, if you're trying to do something bigger than just play at Fast Eddie's every Friday, then that means you're like a sellout. You know what I mean? Was there any of that kind of feeling, or was it just like, I can't be away from the city for that long because I'm doing these other things? Or was it like, in order to do the commercial thing, you have to start dancing to music that's not go-go, or not what it's, like, was there any of that going on, or was it just?
It depends on who you ask, but you asking me, it was just a logical decision for longevity. Again, I'm forward thinking, so I mean, at that time, the commercial route represents performance, right? So I'm looking 5-10 years down the line, what adults gonna pay to see adults dance? So
Right. So you wanted to develop the youth. Got it.
yeah, so everybody making babies, and we can keep it going for generations and generations. And I have a family too, so can't be traveling too much. But yeah,
For sure. I got you. Well, so tell us about, tell us about the experience in working with the kids, how that came about, like how does it, what does it look like? How does that work from back then to now? First of all, the fact that you were 15 in 2005 was really depressing to me. Thank you for making me feel like an old ass dinosaur. But anyway, tell us about how you got started working with the kids and how that manifested and sort of materialized over the years.
Yeah, so I left Beach and Feet Kings and started the originals. That was an effort to stay grounded with the root of the go-go culture in the community. And it just started organically. We just started teaching a few young guys, and shoot from there. We said let's throw a battle because we were training them how to do beach and feet battles, how we used to do back in the day. So by the time we had at least a good 10 or 15 understudies, so we had a collaboration with Planned Parenthood on Minnesota Avenue, and we had through our first battle. I think 5 kids came. It was cool. And we threw another 2. By the third one, I think we had like 40 kids, and then after that, we was averaging 200 something kids. So what that sparked is nonprofits started hitting me up. Hey, we got these initiatives, and you got the kids, and they was paying me to bring the kids out or to promote safe sex or whatever. So, I saw opportunity, and I started hiring the kids that were dancing with us, and kind of started a business.
Nice.
So that's how I generated that.
Okay. So the has traditional go-go in that, Congo style go-go, Conga style go-go, has that ever had a place within the Beach of Feet style, or has it always been straight from the bounce beat?
It's always been breakdown and bounce beat, but we always pay homage to pocket soccer beats. When we teach, the first thing we teach is the history as best as we can. So we go from Chuck Brown, EU, Junkyard. So we go up and we basically explain like how go-go evolved and how we got from there to here. And one of the biggest things that we always preach is the dance just evolved with the music. You know what I'm saying? So of course it started from the hee-haw, and then when the breakdown came out, that was just a natural transition or way of partying to the music. So Beach and Feet is a party dance, you know what I'm saying? So it's a way to express ourselves. So yeah.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So if you were 15 in 2005, you were born in 1990. So you were coming up in were you interested prior to, like, was it you got interested in the Beach of Feet, which introduced you to bounce beat, and then you learned about the culture before that, or were you coming up listening to more traditional style go-go, and then once you got old enough, then you evolved into
I always knew about go-go because family cookouts, they be playing jump, chuck, Northeast groovers, stuff like that. But when Beach of Feet spurred, then I was real young. That's when UCB, TCB was really just coming out. Backyard, raw image. So you had the combination of the go-go's and the house party. So everything was basically marketed through school. I was in junior high school, so we used to bang on the tables, meet at the train station.
We used to bang on tables too, so yeah.
Yeah, so it was just that organic, just growth. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would come to class and talk about their time at the go-go.
Right.
All the neighborhoods be linking up, and if you're in class and they talk about how it was at the hot shop, I want to see what's going on at the hot shop.
Right.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. So now, Okay, so how has that evolved now? Like, what are you working on now?
So now we just trying to be as innovative as possible. So it's like a combination of we working on a little preservation, but mostly innovation when it comes to go-go. Of course, we do it mainly through the dance style. So um, we see a huge gap with the young generation. Um, there's no real connection that we see, and we've started to notice that for a lot of youth, we're the first introduction to go-go instead of a band. So we get that a lot. You know, we might play a track, instrumental track, or a TCB song, and somebody might be 9 or 10 years old that we're teaching the program to, and that's their first introduction. So just
That's
knowing that, understanding that, and trying to use that to kind of further the culture for generations to come.
Gotcha. So that's yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to ask was what is the youngest person that you have in you know in your program, and
Hmm.
how like do they even have any connection to go-go at all? Like I'm trying to obviously I'm trying to identify that gap that you're talking about, like because I'm
Right, right.
older and I don't interface with younger people in DC that much. I live in LA now, so how, like, what is the age gap, like what is the age where it stops? You know what I mean? Like, is it like 18 and under don't care, 15 and under don't care? What is it like, and how can we fix that?
I say right now, 18 and under or 17 and under don't care. They may be aware between 16 and 18, but they might not care. They move into rap. Um, the 15, they might not even know about it. It depends on the household if the parents introduce them to it or not. Um, so yeah, so 15 and under, once we introduce it to them, especially if their parents engage, then it's a process. So we basically nurture them and start telling them about the bands, start sending them tracks. So it's a combination of produced tracks and go-go, because dealing with the youth, that's another challenge. You know, we trying to have a lot of the music is vulgar. So that's doing a lot of positive work in the community. You have to be selective with the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So you might hear us dancing to some bounce remixes, and you might hear us only dance to specific songs like classic go songs that that don't have too much cursing.
Gotcha. So tell me more about that process where you say you start sending them tracks. So what's a typical, like, say I want to send my kid in, they're 6 years old. How does that work? I'm not a person that ever took dance classes. I would
Right,
fail miserably, so I don't know how that whole process works. And
right,
in any other context outside of go-go. So
right.
how does that work? Like if I was to send my kid, you know,
No, we definitely gonna play it safe. We're gonna play it safe, man. You're gonna hear songs like Miracles, Rock Me
well, no, but I
Baby.
mean, how does the actual process work? I send my kid to you. I say, I want you to teach them to dance. How does that, like, what's the first step, and how does that work? And at what point do you start sending them music, and how do you send them music? That's sort of more of like the actual step by step
Gotcha.
process of how they get taught. Is what I'm looking for.
So before this in the normal world without COVID, but
Right.
basically we'll have a workshop scheduled that parents will RSVP to.
Okay.
And we typically have them at the Boys and Girls Club in Southeast.
Okay.
We average about 100 participants, but they'll come with the kids. We'll basically give a briefing to the parents. They already came preparing for their kids to dance. No, 9 times out of 10, 85% of the parents bring lawn chairs or something so they can sit around and watch. And we get the kids ready, get them briefed. We break them out in groups by age. So if you like between 6 and 9 or 11 and up, we break you out. And we might split you into different rooms. And if you, again, you said 6 years old, so at a 6-year age, we're gonna play just a little bounce beat instrumental, just to start teach you the rhythm. We make sure we communicate with the parents, let them know what's going on. But again, we are constantly making assessments about who we have in the program. Because some parents they straight go-go heads, and
Right.
they understand where the TCB, where the backyard at. And
Right.
others, so they might be more middle class people who just want to bring their kids for dance and are interested in the culture. So we might ease on the bounce beat.
Right.
Yeah. So, but what we do is, we start them out slow, just grooving, making sure it's engaging and fun. And we'll send the parent a few bounce tracks with no cursing, and maybe one go-go song, typically like Miracles or something. And we tell them to practice before the next, in preparation for the next class. Now, as we start going further and further into the curriculum, we'll let the parents know who are not familiar that, this is original go-go. This what it is, but this what you're gonna listen to right here. So we get the perfect balance. So what happens is there might be a point in time where you might get some go-go with maybe like one curse word in it, and it don't hurt as much. You know what I'm saying? So we try to have that mixed in, that balance. But yeah.
So if I understand correctly, you're not just educating the kids on go-go, you're educating maybe parents that aren't familiar with the culture with them at the same time. Okay, that's dope. So what is you say you're doing it in Southeast, so I think I'm guessing I know the answer. However, obviously things are changing. What is the typical ethnic makeup of class? Are there any white kids, any Asian kids, anybody from any other ethnic background?
Just black and Latino.
And what?
Latino.
Latino? Okay.
Yeah.
I only asked that because next I want to sort of move to, obviously you've been doing some stuff internationally, and you brought up Miracles a couple of times, and of course that was my band, and the video that you guys shot in Poland, clearly the ethnic makeup there was the way around. So I was just wondering if in DC, especially with the changing ethnic makeup of the city, whether or not any of the interlopers that look like me, for lack of a better term, have decided to take an interest in the culture and actually try to assimilate themselves into the culture rather than expecting the culture to assimilate into what they want.
Yeah, it depends what part of DC I'm in. So Southeast is straight black. If I go Edgewood to Dance Place, then I might get a mix. It's gonna be diverse. But yeah, it depends what part of the city, and also who we market to as well. So yeah, I've been purposely marketing to Ward 8 and PG County and Ward 7 for the past year.
And what specifically, what is, for people that aren't from the area, what is it about those specific areas that makes you want to market to them? Why?
That's home base. That's home base. That's where everything started. So it's about balance, right? So I could travel and teach others, but I still got to maintain a strong foundation back here at home. So I just got to try to maintain that balance. So that's why you only probably see me traveling maybe 2 or 3 times a year instead of like all the time, because I got to take care of home first.
So with respect to these younger kids that the 15 and unders that typically don't have any exposure to go-go prior to taking your class at all. Are you finding that they are growing in affinity towards the music, or is it just a vehicle for the dance, which is what they're really interested in, and they only, you know, sort of are into it because that's what they're being taught to dance to, or do you find that they start to grow an appreciation for the music, for the culture, and start to explore and find out more about it?
That's a good question. It starts out with the dance, and for them, the dance is attached to the music, or the music is attached to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one one thing that kind of put in your brain is our definition of culture is different from them, right? So my culture is going to the go-go's, going to the house parties.
Right.
Their culture might be going to a dance battle. So it's different. So um, it does become part of this new generation of culture. Um, I'm trying to insert more go-go bands into the mix, but they do start to appreciate the music because I send them songs and they trying to get better and they're practicing at home now. So now they're going on exclusive go-go, searching for stuff that they like. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So now it's a mix of the parents and the kids looking for songs. So they may reach out for songs or they go search for something. So they might come back one day and they listen to reaction back.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else might be listening to ABM. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I ain't give you that, but cool.
Right. That's dope. That makes me happy. That's what I would hope would happen, is that it's a way to sort of covertly sneak the sound back into the you know what I mean, into the younger culture, because they obviously have, you know, en masse sort of lost interest in it. And
Mm-hmm.
the you know, obviously, I mean, there are multiple reasons for that. They took music out of the schools, blah blah blah, you know
Right,
what I mean.
right, right.
But so, okay, so I want to sort of move on to what you have been doing internationally and how that came about. And you told me the story about, you know, tell the story about the Nike Boost video and how that sort of sparked a whole another thread of what you were doing.
I mean, we were the first video I was in was Tabby, put me in the pocket. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it all started. It started from Tabby. So shout out to Tabby. Um, then I think we did I forget what song it was, maybe Beat Rock or something with
I know
Tabby.
I don't remember if it was you, but I know that on Jet Setter, which is the video that was filmed on top of the building right next to the fish, right in Ivy City, right there. And
Yeah,
I was in that video, and I know that some of y'all were in there, but I don't remember if it was you or not. But yeah, so there was definitely beat your feet going on in that video. I think Beat Rock too, though. I think there were multiple videos that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tabby definitely showed love. Tabby showed the most love out of
Yeah.
any of the artists. So definitely want to shout out
Yeah,
Tabby.
I didn't mean to skip over him because he'll probably cuss me out. Be like, "Oh, you." I only meant because of the other choreographer that you met at the Wale shoot and how that
Yeah,
materialized.
yeah, yeah.
Something that's the only reason. But yeah, no, big shout out to Tabby. You know, that's my partner. That's my friend. He's out here. He was just texting me. I had to tell him to stop texting me so my phone wouldn't stop beeping when we went live. So yeah, no, big shout out to Tabby. He gave a lot of support to Mambo Sauce and when we
Mhm.
were starting to blow up, and definitely for you guys as well. So okay, so first you were in the Tabby videos, and then what happened from there?
From there, that was during the whole growth of the Beat Your Feet King movement. Had a lot of momentum. But then the Wale Nike boots. So Wale came out with Nike boots, and there's this choreographer named Legz. He's from the DMV area, but he now resides in LA. So he's a top choreographer. He choreographed for a lot of major artists. Um,
Like who? Just to give some context.
And I think they just did something with Justin Timberlake. And they work with Chris Brown, Madonna, just everybody.
Yeah,
So
I just want to provide context for people so they know what level of artists
yeah,
we're talking about. You know.
yeah.
Okay.
So he did some choreo to Nike boots. He was here in the DMV area, and that joint just went viral. But we had some contribution to that because he had reached out. They were having a performance, I think, like it was somewhere downtown. I forget, the steps of the Capitol or something. I forget, but he wanted some Beat Your Feet choreo placed in his set, and he wanted us to do a freestyle. So we collabed and did a whole performance. But his choreo set went viral, and it was definitely Beat Your Feet inspired. So that was, I don't know, years ago, but that was the first glimpse of people seeing Beat Your Feet nationally, incorporated in some hip hop choreo, and he really stood out for that piece. And that's actually where we met. Along the lines where we met Portia, Queen P, and also shout out to my man Tony Zaffa from the area too, who's residing out of LA. Another dope choreographer, working with many artists, but he's back home right now. So definitely about to glad.
And who is Queen P? Because I see her I see her stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, she the queen of Beat Your Feet. So
Yep.
she hold it down for the ladies. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay. So you meet this choreographer in doing the Nike Boost thing, and then what does that materialize into?
I mean, at the time, I didn't have any view into the I guess the mainstream choreography world. So to me, it was just a show. I just know it inspired a piece. But now, fast forward now, I see how big he's gotten. And, you know, it all started from a piece that was inspired by Beat Your Feet. So I definitely saw the potential. I was just out of LA right before, I was out of LA when COVID actually struck. I'm glad I made it back home. But, you know, he had reached out and was like, hey, I'm trying to get some more lessons. He's definitely trying to help spread the culture and get it out there.
Gotcha.
Definitely trying to show love to home.
For sure. I think I must have gotten two stories conflated because I was thinking that somehow was what spread into you starting to do the stuff in Poland and Mexico and all that. I thought that okay. So tell that story. Like how did because the goal of a lot of go-go bands is to perform overseas and wherever.
Right.
Poland, Mexico City, Singapore, all these places where you have successfully been able to go and teach classes around go-go music. So how did that come about?
So I mentioned a guy by the name of Tony Zah, right?
Yeah.
So big choreographer out of LA. Again, he's back here at home. So he went out to Poland some years ago, and he mixed some Beat Your Feet into his choreo. And they'd be like, what's that? He's like, oh, this Beat Your Feet. So he started showing them videos on YouTube, and he showed them videos of me, Portia, Noodles, JR, Beat Your Feet Kings, and they reached out. So they called it I'm In Camp. They're a dance camp.
It's a dance camp. Okay, so he was over there doing a dance camp. He mixed some of the style into his thing, and they asked him about it, and he told them to contact you with regard to learning more about the dance style. Okay.
Yeah. Then they flew me and JR out, and that's when that thing went viral out there.
Well, explain it a little bit because I just assume that people on here haven't seen any of this. So
right.
What exactly was it?
So basically, what transpired again, they flew us out. The whole objective was for us to teach three 2-hour long classes.
Mm-hmm.
We were out there for a week. A lot of different choreographers. It was an intense camp. So you can imagine like 200 dancers from all over the world coming to one spot, like a college or something. And it's just 8 hours nonstop dancing with all different styles and genres. So, my class started. I had my notes, broke down the styles, broke down the history. So I let them hit Chuck, again, EU, Junkyard, UCB.
So every time you teach this, you start from the beginning and you give them a little lead in. Okay.
Yep. So I mean, they basically, I set them down Indian style. I let them groove to the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Get the groove. Then I just basically showed them how it evolved over generations. Did the hee-haw form, and then we got to the breakdown. Once we got to the breakdown, I started with just the original beat your feet groove and movement. And you know, we went through the bounce and just the rhythm. And then we started going into some different styles and techniques. And I mean, they killed it.
Well, so when you say, so is that typical of, like, say somebody's teaching a hip hop class? Do they typically take the class through the history of the genre, or they just assume they already know it? Or if it, you know, in any other style, is that a typical thing to do? Is to go through the history of the music, or is that just something
uh,
incorporated because go-go is such a niche form of music?
it's definitely a niche. I would say it depends on the choreographer, but my first answer would be no. A lot of choreographers, they just gonna teach some moves to a song,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I was actually teaching them how to beat their feet, not just how to do these steps. So that's the difference. So
I think that's really important because
yeah,
that's you know, that's letting people know where the culture comes from, where the
right.
sound come from, how that, and yeah, so that's dope. That's super dope. I have no, you know, like I said, I have very little knowledge of how the dance world works, so I don't know, you know, if that's a normal thing or not. So you say you started teaching, you got to the breakdown, and then you know, maybe some people have seen, maybe some people have not, but you ended up
Yeah.
doing this video to Mambo Sauce Miracles,
Hmm.
and that sort of went viral a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the first class. That
What?
joint.
Mhm.
I mean, what happened was we taught the class. We were tired, sweating. I ain't had no Wi-Fi service out there, and Jr. was with me. Another king. He was you know, he filmed it and he flipped that thing in, I don't know, 1 hour or 45 minutes, and he just dropped it, and it went viral. The next day, we went down for lunch, and all I heard was I saw everybody in their phones in the cafeteria, and I heard miracles echoing all through the lunch hall. I'm like, what the
This is the story that you started telling me when we were talking last time, and I was in Malibu, and my phone signal kept
hell?
going out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't heard the end of this story. So yeah, so what happened? So
yeah. So you know, we just waking up from a nap and went down to the lunch hall. Like 150 people down there, but everybody in their phones. They just stopped, and you just hear miracles echoing everywhere, all different parts of the miracle song. I'm like, what the hell? And that's when Jr. started jumping. Like, man, this video jumping. This joint going viral. I was like, that's what's up.
that's dope. That's super dope. And then you were saying that, you know, that, well, I guess with Miracles, obviously it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on Apple, so
Hmm.
it's really accessible. But you mentioned to me that sometimes when you guys are teaching in other places, people are asking where to get the music, and there really isn't a sort of a, you know, I guess a central look. I mean, there are central locations, but there isn't, you know, I mean, there isn't any way
Yeah,
to separate between like a Miracles or a song that's produced in a way that somebody outside of DC would understand it, or a straight up PA tape that's just 2 hour long and there's a fight,
right, right,
and you know, so it's kind of like no real streamlined way for people to outside of the culture to kind of ease their way into it, right?
right. Yeah. So I mean that was an eye opening moment for me when two things happened that opened my eyes. um, when I finished the first class, they came up and asked me for my notes. So I'm like, what you want my notes for? They like, we want to study for before next class. So I was surprised by that because I mean that was a new experience. And then they kept asking me where can they buy the dipper from Backyard? Where can I buy it? They asked me, can they buy the Dipper? They asked me, can they buy New Impressions, Dark Horse Remix? They asked me where to buy Miracles, and I think we was out there chopping to ABM. They wanted some ABM, so yeah, they wanted to buy it, and
And
they
I
kept
don't think
following up
any one of
about
those songs is available anywhere except for Miracles, right? Because
it.
the Dipper isn't on any of their albums, I don't think. I mean, it might. I
I don't know. I just
think so.
send them YouTube link.
Yeah, yeah. So that's an issue that we have to figure out as a genre, as a culture,
Right.
so that if we want to spread it, you have to make it accessible and
Mm-hmm.
accessible in a way that people that aren't totally immersed in the culture and haven't grown up in it and don't know where to go and don't know the private Facebooks and the go-go ticks get go-go ticks on Instagram. They're not going to know where to go
Right.
get that stuff. I mean, even I had a guy hit me on the Go-Go Ticks website. I mean, this is not for the first time, but it was just the other day. It was like, I'm a DJ in North Carolina. I don't know where to get go-go. Where can I go?
Right.
He's in North Carolina. They know about go-go in North Carolina. We're not
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
most definitely.
you know what I mean? So if the guy in North Carolina doesn't know how to get it, of course the people in Poland don't know where the fuck to get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's something. I mean, my man Darren X, that used to work with TCB and also with Rare Essence, is working with the guys over at GoGo Royalty, which is a sort of Spotify for GoGo, and they're
Okay.
I think they're getting better and better as things go along. But at the same time, I think it's important to maybe try to figure out a way to like filter for the non-initiated or the uninitiated
Right.
to get some. But this is what I used to say about mambo sauce. I said I want mambo sauce to be the gateway drug to real go-go. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like the marijuana of the weed of go-go, because yeah, you're not gonna go straight. Mambo sauce is weed and backyard
Right.
is crack. Like what I mean? I'm not gonna go straight to the dipper for that. My
Yeah.
man Brooks from Reaction on here said glad they weren't asking about the real dipper. But yeah, so that's so, but yeah, that's my thing. You know what I mean? Like, but there's got to be a way to sort of, ease them into that and funnel them in, a sales funnel for go-go, for lack of a better term. So,
Yeah.
okay. So you did, so Poland popped off, you realized that shit was going, and then tell us about, obviously you've moved into other international areas and continue to do the same thing. What are some of those other areas, and how's that working out?
Yeah. I mean, it's working out good. We on target. So Poland happened, and then I went to Ghana, West Africa, toured out Africa. So that was real dope experience.
So
Right.
I want to dig in a little bit to
Yeah.
what is the experience in the different places? How are you seeing different cultures react to go-go? You know what I mean?
So what's the difference between Africa and Poland? Africa and Poland?
Well, the difference between all of them, like just because in my experience, which is limited
Right.
to national experience, anywhere I've seen go-go played, people react. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter where you are. You know what I mean? The beat is the cheat code, whether it's the bounce
Right.
or the breakdown or a socket or whatever. Like it just makes people move no matter where you are. So I'm just curious what the different reactions are in different areas of the world.
In Europe, it's like I don't know, they're eager to learn and they really respect the culture. There's not much culture out in Europe, so when they get introduced to culture, they really respect it. That's why a lot of people say go overseas, you're gonna make money because it definitely makes you feel valued, over there. In Africa, it was more of a cultural exchange. So they already have lots of culture, a lot of African dances. So I taught them beat your feet, and then they taught me some African dance styles, and then it was like a mashup. type situation.
Nice.
So it's like, you show me this, I show you this, and we did some traditional African dance styles, some Afrobeat, and we did some Beat Your Feet. They like T.O.B. over there, by the way.
Oh, really?
They like T.O.B. They like Rude Boy by T.O.B. They kept asking to play Rude Boy by T.O.B.
So I'm sorry, real quick. So you said Europe. So was there anywhere else you went in Europe other than Poland?
Nah, just Poland. Stopped through Germany. Scheduled to go to London, but COVID hit. So
Right.
as soon as COVID over, we're going to London and Mexico. So.
Got it. Okay. All right. So sorry to mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to see if there was between Eastern and Western Europe or any of that. Like, so okay. And so you mentioned Mexico. So don't you have? Didn't you say there's somebody from the crew that's already?
About ambassadors.
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. So there's a lady named Old School Queenie that's a big supporter. She watches every show. Queenie, to clarify, he is not a musician. He didn't have anything to sell. He's teaching the dance, and the song that Miracles that we're talking about was my song, and it is definitely for sale. So neither one of us lost any money because we did what we were supposed to do. The other bands that we're talking about, yeah, they lost some money. So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to clear that up real quick.
It's all good.
Yeah. So you were talking about your guy that is in Mexico.
Yeah, it's actually a female, Denise. So in Mexico, have ambassador Denise. In Poland, we have an ambassador, and we revving up one in Ghana, West Africa. He's a little young guy, but he's just getting into choreography, but he's definitely interested in style, follows everything we do here. So we're starting the training process.
But these ambassadors, they're local to there, or they're people that are they're from?
No, they're from these countries. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And so they took your class when you were there, some of them, and decided that they wanted to be the ambassador. That's dope.
Yeah, they actively listen to Go-Go. They follow everything going on, the Beat Your Feet battles, Mochella, Dome UDC. They know everything, pretty much everything going on.
That's so dope. Didn't you say somebody in Singapore too, or that's coming soon or something? Or
Singapore is coming. Oh, we have one in China too. In China. Yeah. So.
Wow. That's dope, man. That's super dope. I mean, I just think it's awesome that, that you're able to. And what is the average age of these ambassadors?
Between 18 and 25.
18 and 25. So you got an 18-year-old kid in China.
The 18-year-old is in Africa. I don't know how old Ho is in China, but he looked like, 20-something, 23, 25.
But young. Yeah. But he's fucking with Go-Go though in China.
Yeah.
Like that's dope. That's super dope. And then are there plans to what is their job? Like what is their job as an ambassador? Like are they supposed to spread
to learn and push the culture, which will be pushed in a structural way. So basically, like I said, we in the beginning stages. First step is for us to come there, give them training. We talking about bringing them here to DC so we can take them to the Go-Go, so they can see some live bands, and then we'll certify them to teach, which will kind of create a funk structure all the way back home. So it'll be spread. The culture will be spread in the music, but it'll be, home to DC, with ambassadors around the world. But it'll all funnel back to DC.
That's super dope. And so, not to get too far into the business, but I just want like a lot of the purpose behind this show is how to look at like go-go musicians are typically I don't mean this as an insult, but typically a few years behind in terms of the way the business structure of the music
Okay.
industry is working, the greater music industry is working. And so there are things that aren't taken advantage of that could be taken advantage of. So like, I guess my question is, how are you funding bringing somebody from China, funding bringing somebody from China to DC to watch GoGo and to certify them and all that? Is this all just based off of you reinvesting the money that you're paid to teach, or is there any kind of government assistance, or the nonprofits, or how does that work? As much as
It's a mix. Yeah, it's a mixture. Some reinvestments. We have some donors. Um, it's just a mixture. We uh, we have a few supporters. Red Bull supports us. Shout out to Red Bull. They be looking out. Um, a couple of nonprofits that we partner with, and a small part of reinvestment as well. So.
No. So what if somebody watching this right now wanted to say, I want to help, is there a way, is there a mechanism by which somebody can support?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I say DM me right now because we got a new site under construction. It'll be dropping very soon. I gave a deadline of September, but you could definitely DM me and we'll get everything set up through my partner Gil.
At Crazy Legs DC with the Z, right?
Yep, Crazy Legs DC.
Okay.
Um,
Got it up on the screen. Let me know if that's right.
yep, that's it right there.
Okay,
And
bet. If you're interested in being a part of what essentially breaks down to exporting the go-go culture around the world, hit up Crazy Legs and see if you can put some bread up and help them get these kids from around the world to come to DC. And
Well, that's one of the objectives. The main objective with that is us. So the next time we travel, I think the third place we plan to take some Ward 7 and Ward 8 kids out the country with us. So
out,
kid,
out of
some
the
yeah, we taking some kids with us. So a kid videographer, kid dancers who gonna help us choreograph. So just to give them that international experience. So that's the main objective to support.
Okay. Well, so that brings me to another point. How important and what made you realize how important is the visual aspect of this, the videos, because you guys produce really really dope videos and they're extremely visually engaging. How did you realize that was important? What made you realize that was important, and how do you maintain that level of quality through what you guys are putting out?
Uh, people respect quality, and people believe what they see. I can say I'm dope, and you can take it how you want, but if I show you, you can't deny it. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. So just putting out quality content. If it ain't quality, I really ain't gonna put it out. I'll make you wait. But when you see it, you know what I'm saying, you'll definitely respect it. So that's how we move.
Well, if you're on Instagram, make sure you head over to youtube.com/GoGoTix, because the Instagram feed is only going to be on for a few more minutes. But we're going to keep going over on YouTube. So make sure you hit up youtube.com/GoGoTix. The information is in the title on Instagram. So make sure you head over to YouTube. So do you like hire a videographer, or like you mentioned that your guy that was with you in Poland filmed it himself? Like, is it just the other dancers that are filming it for you on the phone, or are you guys hiring a crew, or how does that work?
Now we have a nice small team, two videographers who we use. We got a digital media team, branding. So we trying to scale up the right
Okay.
way.
Okay. That's what's up. So if you could point to what the overall goal of the Beat Your Feet Kings and Beat Your Feet Academy is, what's the overarching goal?
Uh, Spreading the culture, uh, and strengthening the foundation at home for generations to come.
And by culture, because you talked earlier about,
Mhm.
there's different definitions of culture based upon the different generations. How are you defining the culture that you want to spread?
I mean, I'm just speaking. I'm just speaking for go-go in general. We're just using the dance as a catalyst to help a small piece of preservation and a large piece of innovation, spreading it through the next generation. So we keep this thing going, keep it evolving, um, but stay true to DC and go-go.
That's dope. So Queenie wants to know where can she see these videos? I know. So I already have your Crazy Legs DC
Hmm.
as one place, and then there's what Beat Your Feet Finest, or Beat Your Feet's
Yep.
Finest, Beat Your Feet
Yeah.
Finest,
Beat your feet finest. Yeah. Um,
and where else? Is there anywhere else, or are those just those two main places?
I just go to those two right now, but again, September we dropping a whole lot of stuff. We getting the engine revved up, so you're gonna see a lot of dancing, traveling, everything. COVID just messed us up, but it's still
COVID messed everything up.
yeah, just being proactive. We just went back to the drawing board and just priming the engine so we can do a lot of stuff. We just finished our first annual Beat Your Feet Who Got Moves Beat Your Feet Battle League. Um, that was sponsored by Red Bull. Shout out to man Joe Rock who helped out with that as well with some sponsorship. Um, that was dope. My man Beans won. He's a new king of Beat Your Feet. We're gonna start that back up next school year. We're gonna have 17 and under.
So he's the new king of Beat Your Feet because he won the battle. Is that how that works?
Yeah, yeah. We had the league lasted what 6 months, so we had some in-person battles. Those in-person battles brought out about 500 people. We basically set a whole gym up like an arena. Did backstories like it was a reality show, and then when COVID hit, we just kept it going. We just did it digitally. So
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos. That's the ones with the black floor, right? And the
yeah,
logo.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. Those are so dope. So I have a question though. How can he be the king of Beat Your Feet when you're the king of Beat Your Feet?
I'm not the only king. I'm the king,
Oh,
but I'm not the only one.
so you're like on the Iron Throne. You're like in
Yeah,
King's Landing, and they're like in Dragon Mount, or you probably don't
yeah,
watch Game of Thrones to know what I'm talking about. But like they're like in other parts of the kingdom, but you're like the main king.
yeah.
I got you. All right. So you should sort of like you should maybe change your name to the Emperor of Beat Your Feet.
Emperor Beach Street.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a long title, but all right, man. Well, that's super dope, man. I mean, I
Appreciate it.
don't know if people really are conceptualizing how powerful what you guys are doing really is. You know what I mean? I mean, you are literally spreading the culture in a way that bands either cannot or have not. You know what I mean? Because if for taking Poland for an example,
Mhm.
unless a band comes to Poland and plays, then who would know about? How would they even know about it? You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right, right.
so, but you're able to do, but a band, the part of the conundrum of go-go and the lack of touring is that you can't get paid to go somewhere else until you have a fan base there. And
Right.
go-go bands don't have a mechanism by which to create a fan base in other places. They don't use the same marketing techniques as artists in other genres. But you are in effect exporting that culture, our culture, to these other places, which thereby, is slowly creating a demand for this music. Which, you know, I mean, I don't know if anybody really understands that the implications of that are pretty damn big for this music.
I appreciate that. It's all about staying connected. That's the most important part. So, like you said, I could have went out there and just talked and left,
Mhm.
but we keeping those connections. So there's always a link. So we're building this web. You know what I'm saying? So um, I
How
think
does that
that's a good
communication work?
strategy.
How does that
Say it again.
I'm sorry. How does that communication work between you and the guy in Ghana or the guy in Singapore? Like,
Mostly it's Instagram, but some of it's WhatsApp.
okay.
Um, so we in a digital age. So they send me videos for critiquing, get them feedback, have conversations about what plans are, and what the objectives are. But the biggest thing is making sure that they're really indulged in culture and the music and the style.
Mhm.
So if I feel like they just gonna do beat your feet and mix it, then we wouldn't have them be an ambassador. When they do beat your feet, they gotta do straight beat your feet. You gotta be to go. They gotta talk about Chuck Brown. You gotta talk about the origin, where it came from, generation. So that's what I said. It's training that has to go on. It won't happen overnight, but that communication and that process has started. So we strategize in ways to get them to come to DC, and that's to go to their country. So,
Are you gonna make them like wear shooters and madness and stuff?
well, actually, my man in Poland, he Lord, his name Lord Star. He buys a DC apparel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he put up DC sign and everything.
That is dope, man. That is super
Yeah,
dope. Like, that just makes me happy as shit. Like,
yeah,
I just feel like I think people sometimes mistake like my passion and my love for go-go leads me to be critical of go-go sometimes because I hate the fact that we are like our own worst enemy and
yeah.
we don't do the things that we need to do to get this music outside of the area because of the nature of I was just talking to my man Conan about this earlier because of the nature of the fact that bands can become such celebrities in the local area that it goes to their head where they think that this is all there is and they don't really know that there's like a whole nother world out there, you know what I mean? And there are specific things that you need to do to get out there to that world. And even if you do all of those things, it still doesn't mean you're going to be successful in doing
Right,
that, but you're not going to be successful in doing that for sure if you don't even try. And so
right,
the fact that you are able to, touch these people in different countries around the world and have them, respect the culture that much where he's in Poland buying madness or whatever. That's pretty fucking amazing, man. Like,
appreciate it.
yeah, man. Nah, that's super dope. That's super dope. Well, listen, man. We're working on our thing on the side. We're gonna keep that a secret for the moment.
Yeah.
Um, I appreciate you taking the time today, and we'll talk offline for sure. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And thanks again to Crazy Legs, Beat Your Feet. Check them out at Beat Your Feet Finest. If you want to support and help them take some of our kids to overseas, or if you want to bring some of the kids that they're working with from overseas to check out GoGo in real life. You can DM Crazy Legs at Crazy Legs DC. Just make sure you use a Z for that. That's Crazy Legs DC
Yeah.
on Instagram and see what you can do to help out. And thanks again, man, for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, cool.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. That was Crazy Legs of Beat Your Feet Kings on GoGoTalx. today brought to you by GoGoTx. I am a terrible host and I don't have my schedule up for next week, so I apologize. I don't know who's coming on next week, but it's going to be good. That's what you should know. But here's how you can find out who's coming on next week. You can do two things. You can go to gogotix.co, which is right here, and subscribe to the email list. And every Monday at 7 a.m., an email goes out and it tells you who's going to be on the show that week. Also, once actual go-go's and concerts start happening again, that email will also include a listing of some of the shows and concerts that are coming up. Additionally, gogotix.co is typically a place where you can find show listings for shows and concerts that are happening. Really, you can find any go-go that's happening anywhere, and a lot of the concerts that are happening in DC that that makes sense for people that are into go-go. Obviously, coronavirus put a stop to all of that, but that will be coming back soon. So if you go to gogotix.co, subscribe to the mailing list, you'll be able to get it, every Monday morning at 7 o'clock. It'll tell you who's coming up. You can also subscribe. Please do so at right below here. Click on the subscribe button and the little bell button. So it'll give you the bell button will give you a reminder when an episode is starting, and you can also set reminders for episodes that have already been set up that are set to go. Thank you, Bus 12103. I'm not sure who that is, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you for tuning in, and thank you to everybody. Thank you, Old School Queenie, for tuning in all the time. I really appreciate it. Tune in next week. We're gonna have more good episodes and got a lot of good stuff coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. Thanks a lot.